you cinephiles out there.
What's up?
So we are going to be reviewing the new movie, or remake of movie, not really a movie, a mini-series. It's going to be Stephen King's It.
Yep. Now, real quick, that is a little confusing. People are like, well, is this a remake? Is this a remake of the miniseries, or what is this? To me, this is a different adaptation from the book. The miniseries is a TV adaptation from the book in 1990. This is an actual feature-length film adaptation from the book, and it's only focusing on the part of the book where they experience their encounters with it as children. So that, to me, is what this is. So
now, before we get into the movie, we are going to be talking spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, leave this video, go watch it, get it, and then come back.
Cannot stress this enough. Go watch it. Go watch it before you watch anything that may spoil it, because this movie, it's one of the best horror films of our time. It really is. So do yourself a favor, go watch the movie as soon as you can, and then come back and watch this video.
This is a movie that you must see. Even if you are not a big horror fan, this also is a hybrid genre of a coming-of-age movie, because the kids in this movie are just hilarious. There's the comic relief in this movie is just great, and it lets you breathe amongst all the horror, jumpy stuff.
Yes, it's now, when you think horror films, you think of the standard crappy actors who you don't really care about. You're just thinking, oh, they're gonna die, they're gonna die, they're gonna die, they're having sex, so they're gonna die, whatever. And you think about like all the crappy jump scares that the movie relies on. It's not even that scary. We have a lot of awful horror films that rely on this formula, and it's kind of it's really dry now. We're all kind of sick of it. This movie, because it's based on such an interesting and strange novel, it was adapted very well into a very interesting, very well laid out plot in a horror movie. And it's like you said, it's really something else of its own. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got a little bit of romance. It's got some comedy here and there. And now when the horror comes up, this movie has jump scares riddled throughout the movie, but that's not what the movie relies on. The movie has horrific visuals. It has imagery that will scare the living shit out of you, basically. And like, if I wasn't my first viewing of it, I saw it in IMAX. The IMAX experience of this movie really brings you into the movie, and it immerses you into the movie. And he saw it too on his second view in IMAX, and he agrees actually. And like every little tremor or noise startles you, and this movie was just amazing to watch and experience. And upon my first viewing of watching it, there's a scene, and it's the projection scene that was shown in the trailer. I won't tell you what happens, but let's just say that scene gets a whole lot worse. And if I had been alone in the theater, I probably would have started screaming, because it was that horror. And I don't scream during horror movies. I jump at the most part, and the jump scares. That's it. This movie would have, if I had been alone and not being able and had free range to like not worry about controlling my behavior, I would have started screaming my ass off, because it was so horrifying what happens in that scene. I take my hat off to Bill Skarsgård. You did a great job. This man did a great job portraying the new version of Pennywise, the dancing clown. And I like, all respect to Tim Curry, I love this version of Pennywise much better than his version. That's the old miniseries. It's really dated and goofy, especially the second half. People talk about how they like the first half of it with the kids more than they like the second half with the adults. Bill Skarsgård brings a whole darker and edgier take on the clown, and you just gotta see for yourself for the most part. Like, it's better to see it than it is to hear about it.
Yeah, the fact that this movie was rated R, which is great, because this movie needed to be rated R because the book is very graphic. I've heard. I haven't read the book, but I've heard that it is very dark and very graphic. And it happens right in the very first front of the movie. You see Georgie's arm get bitten off.
Pretty much. For most of the movie, Bill is going through the movie thinking that Georgie might still be alive, hoping that his little brother is still alive. And honestly, I couldn't blame him, because I mean, Georgie was adorable. Georgie was a little. It was the kid they cast as Georgie. He perfectly portrayed an innocent, very adorable child that was just having some fun. And like, whenever he was talking to Pennywise and he was laughing and like Georgie smiled, I was like, you're thinking, Pennywise, don't kill this kid! Don't! I beg of you! Like, don't do it. I know you're hungry, but come on, man.
Come on, let the poor kid live.
Yeah, but
just give him a
sadly, Bill finds out at the end of the movie that his little brother is indeed dead, and he has to come to terms with that.
Speaking of the kids that portrayed their characters, all of them did great. The stand-up for me is obviously Richie, with a lot of his, crude humor.
You guys are splashed around in millions of gallons of dairy pee. So, are you serious?
Doesn't smell like caca to me, senor.
Have you ever heard of a staph infection?
Also, a staph infection.
The parents in this were absolutely horrible, but not acting-wise, but they were horrible as character-wise. It's like the parents weren't even there.
Pretty much,
they didn't help.
I think that's a good thing the movie does. The movie. I mean, there's obviously adults in the town.
Yeah.
These kids aren't by themselves. There are adults there, and there are adults in a couple scenes. However, as far as their encounters with the monster, as far as how they're dealing with it, their parents are completely absent in the whole thing. You can pretty much put together that the monster, has an influence on the town. He can blind the adults to certain acts of violence, or in their head he can make it to where they normalize it. For instance, there is a scene where Ben. Why do you call him Henry? Henry Bowers. That's what I'm confusing with. There's a kid named Henry Bowers and his gang are picking on Ben, the chubby kid, in the group, and they're picking on him, and they're on a bridge, and they're holding him, they're bullying him, and this elderly couple drives by in their car, and Ben cries out to them for help, but they just look at it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
There's like, kids playing, drive on. But you see a red balloon of one of Pennywise's balloons show up in the back seat, indicating that Pennywise has influence on the adults in the town. And yeah.
I mean, you see Billy and Georgie's mom playing the piano at the very beginning, but after that you don't really see her anymore. You see Billy's dad after the whole incident happens, and he's pissed off at the fact that Billy's trying to find Georgie because he believes he's still missing.
That's kind of the one thing, my one little gripe about the movie, or if there's any more, I don't know. That's the one thing I've kind of noticed, that I don't really like how Bill's dad acted to him about him wanting to find Georgie. I thought he was a little too aggressive and mean, but maybe I don't know if maybe that has to do with its whole influence. But then again, that would work against his favor, because he should be like, oh yeah, definitely go to the sewer, right, or whatever. But so that actually disproves that theory. I thought it was. I don't think that's how a father should speak to his son who's hoping his brother's alive. Like, I don't know. It's like my one thing about this movie that I would have personally changed. Actually, no, there is something else. I just don't remember it.
But that's what I mean. Is like the parents. Obviously, this is mainly about the kids, and the parents have little roles in it, and the parents the adults don't really do much for the kids, and Billy's dad is one example, and then you have Eddie's mom, who's very, very overprotective.
I thought they could have portrayed her in a better light. I don't think they needed to make her gross looking and and fat. And honestly, it looks like she's wearing a fat suit.
Yeah.
Like, whatever she's wearing looks like an obvious fat suit to me. And I think their portrayal of her was a little too crude. And I thought they didn't need to do it that way. They could have made her a normal looking average woman instead of what you see in the movie, and it could have been fine. She could have still been cold and cruel to the kids after after Eddie got injured, and it would have been the same. I mean, we just had to look at a disgusting, overweight woman who just kind of pisses off.
Yeah, but it's not really about her looks. It's just the character is that she's very overprotective of her child, even though.
Yeah, and I guess that's the whole point.
Even though Eddie's taking placebos once he finds out, and he kind of.
Yeah, and I still like the scene where Eddie kind of like stands up to her and says like, "Yo, this is all bullshit, and I'm gonna go help my friends." I just think they didn't have to make her look like that. I don't see what the purpose of that was. I think they could have made her look more average looking, but have her be the same character, have her still be overprotective and mean towards the other kids, and we could have gotten like the same effect. But I don't know what the thought process was to make her look like that. I don't personally agree with it, but it doesn't really bother the movie that much.
And then you have Henry Bowers' dad, who is a strict, probably tough love, maybe not even probably love, but is just tough on his kid.
Yeah, too tough.
And you also have Mike's grandfather, who kind of tells him like, look, if you don't do whatever he was doing to the goat, killing the goat, you can either be like him, the goat, or you could actually be like us. So that was also more of a tough love situation. And then of course you don't see Richie's parents at all.
No, you don't.
Beverly's dad, of course, there's this implied that she's been raped or abused or molested by her father. Mm-hmm. And Stan's dad is just more of like, hey, you're not practicing your Hebrew. Yeah. What the hell's going on? So, but that's just part of the movie that just shows that it is about the kids, and that the kids have to grow and mature to go up against this interdimensional human force thing.
This movie isn't just about the monster and how it kills the kids. There's a lot of horror movies. You just go to watch how people get killed. You want to go watch it, and you want to see, all right, how are they going to get taken out? How is this gonna? Is anybody going to survive, or is the killer going to win? That is not what this movie is about. This movie is about kids conquering their fears and coming together and standing together and defending each other and protecting each other to overcome an evil creature. And once you get to that part of the movie and you see them fight against this thing, it really is. Once you get through all the horror that you had to watch them go through, it really is that much more powerful when they conquer it. It's really awesome to witness, and it shows that kids should not be underestimated in their strength and in their love for their friends. And this movie really emphasizes the power of friendship and the power of love, and how it can overcome the darkest of things. You are kind of left wondering, is there going to be part 2? And there will be a part 2. It's set to come out in about 2019, I've heard, and it will focus on the story taking place 30 years later when all of the kids are adults. Yeah. And everyone's already talking about who is going to portray the adult version of these characters. And there's been people, I've heard some clamoring for Chris Pratt to play Ben. And I think that would be nice, but I don't know if Chris could play a believable 40-year-old, so because he's still kind of young looking. So I don't know. We've talked it over. We have a couple people in mind. I personally think Amy Adams should play Beverly. Jessica Chastain, if Amy Adams says no, whatever. I didn't understand until the second time I watched it, but apparently Bev had the vision of them being back in Derry and taking on it as adults. Mm-hmm. She had that vision while she was entranced by the Deadlights. Yeah, I didn't understand that at first. I actually liked how we got to see the Deadlights in this movie. Whenever Pennywise opens his face up to Beverly and he shows her the Deadlights, which that was kind of horrific to watch. I was like, what's he doing? He's opening his face up? Is he gonna like bite her head off? And then he saw the Deadlights, and I was like, oh, okay. Oh, thank God. I was thinking, he can't kill Beverly.
This is a well-done film, a well-done adaptation of Stephen King's It. Just the subtle Easter eggs in some certain scenes, and scenes that if you see it twice, you'll actually notice new things. Like for instance, the library scene with Ben, if you didn't see it before, you see when Ben starts hearing noises and the red balloon starts appearing, you see a woman, an elderly woman in the background, she's not in focus. She's very fuzzy, out of focus, and you just see her for some reason just turn and stare and smile towards Ben, and it's just really unsettling. But she's there for like all throughout that whole scene that Ben's looking at this balloon go by.
I've seen it twice now, and I intend to go a third time. I just can't get enough of this movie. It's way too fun to watch. I just love the elements and the themes of it, and it has a very powerful message in my opinion. And I feel like if you're very scared of clowns and you're very scared of horror movies in general, I feel like you should try to overcome that fear, like this movie says kids do. Yeah. You should overcome your fear of this and go watch this movie. Bravo to the director and the producer, who I believe are brother and sister. I hope y'all do the next one, and I hope it's great.
The jump scares are not cheap jump scares. They are great jump scares. They are deserved jump scares. The horror elements are fantastic as well. This movie to me is, if you're not afraid of clowns, it's more unsettling and more creepy than scary. There are scary elements in it, but it is more creepy and more unsettling and disturbing. But if you are, like I said, if you are afraid of clowns, this will terrify you a little bit more, or if right at all. You might be one of those people like, okay, I just want to see it once and then I'm good. No more, ever again. But it's definitely worth a watch because, like you said, it has humor, it has great, breathing moments for a horror film, and it's just well done. That's our review. Pretty much, to give a quick rating system, I guess I could give it an easily 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm tempted to give it a 10 out of 10, but since the movie has tiny little flaws that I would personally like to fix, and I take a little bit of issue with, but like they don't bug me to the point to where they ruin the movie, like for other people. They're not, like, the movie is still really solid, so I would say 9 out of 10 as well.
Cool. So, let us know in the comments below what was your favorite scene from the It 2017, and what was your favorite scene that scared you. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And until next time,
We're out.